self-sufficient.
Yeah, no one's coming to knock on my door being like, hey, I want to buy a house.
I think it's great.
You have to go hustle. You have to work hard.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Real Estate Halftime Show. I'm James Harper. We're live here in the secret headquarters in Hendersonville and have a very special guest. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I've met this young lady a few different times, and she has some great things to share about real estate, what's going on in Nashville, what her world looks like on a day-to-day basis, because she is all over the place. And we'll talk more about that here in just a few seconds. Stay tuned for the Real Estate Halftime Show.
It's time for the Real Estate Halftime Show. Sit back, relax, and listen to Nashville's premier inside scoop to real estate with the Mortgage Extraordinaire himself, James Harper.
So hello, welcome back to the Real Estate Halftime Show. And I have my very special guest in here, Rachel McEver, and she represents her own brand, but is affiliated and works through Reliant Realty here in Nashville. And so welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Yay. So we just had a quick little encounter. We got bombarded by another recent podcast guest, Katie Garrison, who is on one of our other shows. So she totally walked in the middle of our show. We had to stop. But we got some goodies.
But it was worth it.
Yeah, we got some Sour Patch goodies.
Sour Patch Kids for the win.
Yes. And so we'll show that here on the show real quick. So we got 2 bags of these. So if we eat during the show, that's fine.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. All right, so let's jump right in. And let's hear about, I always like to hear from guests, what made you jump into real estate? What made you wake up one day and say, man, this is what I want to do. This is my passion. Because I don't think anybody, even on the lending side, we wake up and say, hey, this is the business I want to be in.
Right,
I mean, I have an engineering degree, and here I am doing mortgages, which I'm not saying that in a negative connotation.
Right, of course.
But it wasn't what I woke up initially out of high school to do. So tell us your quick story as to why and how you got into real estate.
Well, I'll make it as quick as I possibly can, but it spans probably a 12 to 13 year time frame. So when I always worked retail store management, so I was very used to nights, weekends, holidays, all the things.
All
crazy
the sucky
schedule.
hours.
Yep. Sucky hours.
Retail does suck, by the way.
Retail does suck, by the way. The rare occasion that I go shop in person anywhere anymore, I always have so much respect. I'm like, no, put that back where you found it. Don't just leave that sitting out. And the store's going to close. We have to get out of here. But anyway, so when I had my son, I took off a year from work. And when I was going to go back to work when he was a year old, that's when this was in 2010. That's when I first was like, I think I would really like to get my real estate license. I enjoyed the sales aspect of real estate.
Was there somebody that you looked up to, or you were friends with, or that kind of you saw how their lifestyle was, or you just saw how they operated their day, or is it just in general?
Yeah, I think it was more of just in general. I mean, my parents had friends growing up that were realtors. I didn't know a whole lot about it, obviously. I had just kind of always heard, oh, you work for yourself and, it's flexible and stuff like that.
It's flexible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not.
So I don't know. And I liked the sales part of retail, but I didn't like the schedule of it. Anyway, again, long story short, I did not end up getting my real estate license in 2010. I kind of just got this federal government job, just sort of fell in my lap. And it was, the kids were young and it was not a whole lot of responsibility. It was, paid holidays, set schedule, salary. It was just kind of okay, this is perfect for this time in my life sort of thing. So I did that. And
board stiff.
12 years later,
board stiff for 12 years.
Literally never intended for it to be that long. Yes. So, 2020 and things changed a lot for a lot of people. I was able to telework for like a year and a half after the, pandemic. And are we allowed to say that on
Yeah.
the, okay.
Yeah.
Are we going to get flagged?
No. Nope.
Anyway, so when it was time for me to actually have to start going back into the office, I mean, my first day back, I was like, there's no way I'm doing this I can't even do this for another year. So I was like, I'm doing it. Kids are older. They can like fend for themselves, for the most part now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm doing this for me. I'm doing what I want to do. And the rest is history. Here we are. Yeah.
And so when, how did you feel like you were going to set yourself apart?
Honestly, I never really, that was never really like a
Didn't bother you?
major concern
That's
for
great.
me. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm a social person. I've never had an issue like walking into a room full of people. That doesn't make me feel weird. I don't feel out of place. Like, even if it's somewhere maybe I'm technically don't belong or whatever, like I just walk in like I own the place, honestly. I'm from here. I've been here. I moved here when I was 7 years old. So I've been here, since 1991. I mean, I literally like.
She grew up in the backyard of the secret headquarters in Hendersonville.
Literally. Yeah.
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 Everybody wants to know where that is.
The old Walton Ferry Peninsula.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Walton Ferry Peninsula. So, if we go backwards a little bit, when you were growing up, what was it that kind of helped guide you into what you are today when it comes to your ability to be comfortable in crowds, or to be able to sell yourself, to be able to hunt? I always say,
Yeah.
if you can't hunt, you just don't need to be in sales. And how many people are in sales that can't hunt? You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
So, when I say something about your coolness factor, I mean, what is your coolness factor that allowed you to kind of be different in that regard? And, take us back to when you grew up, or were you in cheerleading, or, whatever it might be that made you feel confident in your ability to hunt.
Yeah. I mean, I would say like kind of the first part of your question, like I'm comfortable around in crowds. I've always been social. I grew up around a million cousins and aunts and uncles.
Big
and
family.
Both of my parents' families like lived close to each other. I mean, holidays, birthdays, it was always just a big affair, like for everything. I will say, I think like I was never, my parents always worked really hard. And like when I turned 16 or whatever, like my parents did not just give us cars, which was, I mean, now it's almost like kids, and I have kids who are of that age, so I can say this, but it's almost like they feel like it's a rite of passage. Like I turned 16, like my parents are buying me a car,
I'm
right?
dealing with it right now.
Yeah, and I've done that. I mean, I have a 23-year-old. We've bought her first car and then gave her her second car. So, and then I have a son who's 15, so we're working on that now. But like my parents were not like that. It was like, you're going to work, you're going to buy your own stuff. Like, not that we won't, like they would help us with anything we needed, but it was very much like, you got to go get your own.
You gotta go, yeah. You gotta go.
And I think that transfers a lot like into just me being like,
self-sufficient.
yeah, no one's coming to knock on my door being like, hey, I want to buy a house.
I think that's great.
You have to go hustle. You have to work hard.